Alright, what is up, YouTube? It again. It is me, the guy who has not posted in a little minute, who said he would be posting every day, but I've been very busy with work and other stuff, and I thought I would make a new creative type of content, and I would be rating very influential people on the internet and what I think about them, and give them a rating on a tier list that I would make. And yeah, pretty much. So I'm just trying to get some of the most influential people on the internet who've made a lot of money, and not just that, but also low-key people on the internet. So maybe names we don't always see come up in the search results, but you know, very high-end people who are very well known and have an infamous or very good reputable reputation, and some middle ground people that you don't hear too much. They have a social media presence, but they've garnered money doing very different activities and creative methods, and just some people that are just coming up as well, because there's always people trying to make a good living, me as well included, that are trying to branch out in different creative ways. So I just thought, hey, why not try to give my 2 cents on everybody with trying to get a reputation out there, even though I know this video probably won't get many views, but that's okay, because you know what, I'm trying different creative methods and different creative outlets. And so I thought I would start with one of the biggest names out there first, Andrew Tate.
So you admit it!
And I will be going over his beginning, the rise, kind of why he does, why he deserves this rating, or kind of why, kind of all the rumors, speculation, theories, giving more into his life and how he got this rise, how he got this power, how his name's becoming a little bit more infamous, and then perhaps the character might have a little bit of a downfall because certain influencers might be kind of getting off of their reputation a little bit as well, kind of maybe struggling right now with how much they're getting viewed. But yeah, so I will go into the first topic with the character Andrew Tate, is the beginnings. Now, Andrew Tate's beginning was very interesting. As a young child, his first ever job was working at a fish market in the early mornings, which he has said a few times in his videos as well, and then I will put them up there as well. But yes, he worked in a fish market as a kid, doing very strenuous tasks, I can imagine, in Lewin, England. And that was a good job for him for a little bit. And then he also worked as a television advertising salesman, I believe, with Tristan as well. And that was a job they picked up around in 2009. And I believe Tristan helped him to get this job as well, because they would both make a very good income as well. I believe Tristan was the first one to get Andrew on board with that sales job, because it was a very good career opportunity at the time. But of course, that wasn't what Andrew Tate wanted to do. He wanted to be a fighter, and so on the side, he would train to become a world-renowned kickboxer champion.
Years of Wendell. Working the body again, that was smart by Tate there, working the side kick. It's over now,
really
sure.
He's in a really bad way.
Over.
And Jesse stopped the fight! What a turnaround! He was getting caught. He was getting caught.
Your winner by KO and the new 90 kilogram.
He wanted that title, and he won it.
USA, Andrew.
So I can't see many 90 kilo guys taking it off. Keep trying on there.
He fights like that.
Wow, that was great.
Here at the O2 Indigo in London, and everyone is in high anticipation. By his hands by his hips. By his elbow, kicking the outside leg of Tate. He will get caught with the right hand straight up the middle.
Just so enthralled in this fight, everyone's been looking forward to it.
Quiet anticipation. Tate knees just not.
And as we all know the story from a lot of videos of him saying that, which I will put up as well. Yeah, so he wanted to become a very successful kickboxer, and he did. He became a successful kickboxer, and that really, it took a minute, but it launched his career, surpassing a very manageable income, and I will probably give the income of what he was making as well as being a kickboxer. But yeah, those were his first 3 beginnings as a young kid working in a fish market, to a television advertising salesman, and then on the side as well trying to become a international kickboxer, which he did. And of course, being a young kid, fish market would be an interesting job. I can imagine a lot of manual labor for that job, which, being a very successful and very educated man, and probably very educated kid, he probably picked that up very quickly, and he was able to be very successful in that job. Very strenuous, and then definitely his sales skills show, though, because definitely that was a good career launching opportunity with Tristan bringing him into the television advertising salesman position, and I believe that was a very good career for him to pick up. Talking and how to communicate very articulately with other people, and how to really sell what they were advertising and what their product was for that company, which I will find the company as well. But of course, we know that this would not be the most known career he would have. Of course, his kickboxing career beats everything, and he became a very great champion at kickboxing. He became a well-renowned fighter. And I applaud him for these 3 jobs, for his humble beginnings, just because learning a manual labor job is not easy right now, especially in today's current society. Everybody wants a quick way to make money, which unfortunately is not the case. Reselling and doing Shopify e-commerce stores, which I have all tried as well, to varying degree. The only degree of success I've had is my own product right now, which is local sales. But being in a fish market position as a kid definitely taught him hard labor as well, which I will applaud him for. And then definitely the salesman position is always a very good skill to pick up at a very young age.
Has Andrew Tate ever had a job?
Oh yeah, I've had jobs.
What were your first jobs? Walk people down that lane.
I'm not a rich guy. I'm just a poor guy with lots of money. I am, no, but I mean that. I've had jobs. I started off my first job, I was carrying boxes of fish.
How old were you?
15.
50. That was your first job?
Yeah, there were like 25 kilo boxes of fish with ice in them, and I was carrying them from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. at a fish market. That was my first job. I've worked in sales. I was an IT technician at my school.
No way.
Yeah, I've done loads of things. I've done loads of jobs.
Andrew Tate was on sales calls?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've done loads of different jobs.
Whether this was in his teenage years to early adulthood years, it is a very good skill to pick up, as I am not too well-renowned in this department. I've had friends and other colleagues that I've known in the past that have helped me with this type of skill to learn. And being a salesman right now is not very easy, and depending on what you're selling, it could be very hard. I know for my area right now, a lot of people try to sell solar, and it really just depends on what you're selling. And for the time, I'd imagine TV was very popular still at this time, so of course there were more sales for TV advertising. So he picked up on it, and he learned skills to communicate, which is a very good skill. And everybody still needs the skill to learn how to be able to communicate on why people deserve your product and why people need your product. And the more you learn to pick up on that skill of why people should work with you, you will net a very good income, I should say. You'll be able to communicate with a lot of people that are also working on business as well, and be able to work with really high-end people. So not only is it good communication skills to learn, but it's also good advertising, it's also good networking, and it's also good in making a very good income as well. But of course, this did not or was not, the best careers for them, as Andrew Tate made most of his successful net profit income from fighting. And I will find the statistics and the profits that he made from fighting. But fighting, in the end, was what garnered a very good amount of income for young Andrew Tate coming up in the world of kickboxing. So the humble beginnings, I feel, are very good for Andrew Tate. I feel like definitely him as a kid to early teenagehood years into early adulthood years really show whenever he talks about it. I believe that they are very, all very good skills that he picked up to make him into the man he is today. I believe they were definitely influential in his growth. So I believe the humble beginnings get a very good high rating for him for Andrew Tate in the beginning, just because this really shows how he was a hardworking, dedicated youth. And yeah, moving on to the rise of Andrew. Now for the rise of Andrew Tate. Now the rise is really when he started the kickboxing career, as it launched his publicity as well in the fighting world, and him debuting for the ISKA, which is an international association for fighting and karate as well. And that's where he would do most of his sports fighting around the early 2000s to late 2000s. So it would go on from about 2000 to 2005, most likely ranging to 2009 as well. And while they were doing this as well, Tristan also had been influential to Andrew, or vice versa, Andrew to Tristan, into this other business that they would start, which is a adults webcam platform for girls as well. And that is very interesting because these were two very big influential sources of income for him as well. Not just with being a renowned fighter, but as well working with his brother to make a cam girl type business and a calling business as well. So they would have lots of girls on standby as well, and work with clients for probably mischievous calls of sexual arousal and different webcam business as well for sexual stimulation as well for males, which I cannot say that it didn't net him a very good source of income, because that's how mainly the brothers were able to get such a good amount of income. There's no specified exact time when they started the cam girl business, but it is stated by Tristan and Andrew that they both had done this sort of business while he was kickboxing at the time. And yeah, so for the kickboxing, I would say definitely very prized and definitely a worthy career. I would definitely say that that is one of his best, that is the best renowned career that Andrew has garnered for his reputation for being such a well-renowned, influential person on the internet. It definitely shows his character. It definitely shows that he is the fighting type, that he is definitely a man through struggles, and he built himself, he built his body to compete in championships, to compete in the ISKA, which definitely helped his early career in coming from low class to very high and middle class as well through the fights he did. And for the reputation of the cam girl business, this has garnered him a lot of infamy, him and his brother. Now, will I say that it does make up a lot of income as well? Yes, it makes up a very high amount of income, not manageable. It makes a very high income amount, and at the time, technology was just coming in. New phones were being developed around the early 2000s to 2010s. So this was a very profitable time for that business, and as well as the internet was just picking up, and they were one of the first entrepreneurs of that field to use it to its advantage. Now, do I believe that's a very good business for them that got them a lot of money? Yes. Do I think it is very commendable and does it garner a good reputation for them? No. And they have even looked back on this and they have said that no, if we could do it over again, we would have. Because with their pursuit of faith, which is another key topic I'll get into, with their pursuit of faith, they realized that doing that business was not good for their spirituality. It was not good for their health overall in general. And it got them a lot of money, but then they saw just how evil and corrupt that business really was. Maybe people in the business, maybe their connections that they were meeting through their sales tactics and through their fighting career may have offered them this position or may have told them about this very lucrative business that was kind of evil. Perhaps some people could have told them about this, or maybe it was their idea. Who knows? There's not too much information. Although they have said that they have done it in the past, and this is a very infamous reputation that they have, as it has garnered them a lot of bad publicity. Publicity for bad publicity. Whether that's still good or bad to many people, who knows at this point. Some people are fans for what he has done in this certain business. Some people are disgusted by how he has done this and exploited girls for money. And I believe, with my personal belief, that yes, this was a very infamous and bad reputation to be put on them, as it has come back to bite them and haunt them later on in their careers. And I definitely think if they had the choice to go back, they should reverse this step, as I believe with how famous he became as a kickboxer and how much his influence reached with the real world and the Matrix on Instagram and all social media platforms, including TikTok and Twitter. I believe that this should have been a step that they avoided. And for my spirituality and faith as well, I believe that it should have been avoided as well. No going back in time, however, but I believe with their faith now and what they have done, what they're striving to become now as men, I believe they've changed their ways, and they've seen the fruit from this has been quite corrupt and evil. So the rise has been kind of a mix. It's been interesting. It's a very middle of the way. I can't say that they were leaning too good, and I can't say that they were leaning too bad as well. But definitely, you can't. Definitely, they tried to pick and choose both, but unfortunately, it still gives off a very bad apple. It's still a very sour apple. So yes, Andrew Tate did get a lot of money as a very influential kickboxer, which is a very good rise, and he definitely earned his income through that. Definitely with his sales tactics and approach, I definitely think those two skills were very crucial for his growth. I think still all young men aspiring to be influential right now, even including me in this department, I think I could look up to Andrew Tate for those two skills, as I believe he could be a very good teacher in those skills and in that department of teaching people. But will I say that the cam girl business was a wrong move direction? Yes. Not only did it come back to haunt him later, he has regretted those actions, and it definitely harms him for future business endeavors as well. As right now, with his current situation, he cannot make too many business inquiries, definitely with the label of him being a true misogynist. It's pretty much hard for him to do any business right now. So him and Tristan are pretty much cooped up in their house in Romania. I wouldn't doubt that they still have a lot of business coming in, moving in from other business adventures that they're doing. But right now their influence is really tanked because a lot of people do not see him as a good influence anymore. And unfortunately, without that big part of the cam girl business, I believe things could have gone a lot smoother for them. And I feel like with the influence now they had today, without that bad reputation from that second business they were doing on the side, maybe things could have turned out a little bit better. But, who knows? They can recover, maybe in the future. Maybe if they do something a little bit different for the media, do something in a different direction, maybe things can change. But these were still their early beginnings, and a lot of things have changed now that are not good for them, which unfortunately will be the fall, because things are still not looking bright for them. But I believe with their rise is that they tried to play two sides of the fence, one good, one bad. And unfortunately, they still ended up in very unfortunate circumstances right now, which I will get to in the fall of Andrew Tate as well.
So how do you reconcile, first off, how long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago I stopped. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet. And I'll explain it one more time for people. I've explained it already at length, but I'll explain it from the beginning. I had a company. I was fighting at the time. And on a side note, I actually want to make this clear. We talk about things people have done in the past for money. I beat people up for money. I hurt people for money. I don't often tell people this, and I think it's the first interview I've mentioned it in. There's a person who can never walk the same again because he fought me. I've had 87 professional fights, and I did my best to kill people. You're going to sit here and talk about what I did for money. I literally hurt people for money. And so I'm not a perfect person. I'm not sorry for my kickboxing career or my cage fights. I'm not sorry for any of it. I had bare knuckle fights. I'm not sorry for any of them, right? I was a person who had to pay the bills. I lived the life I lived. I used the tools I had. And I ended up opening a webcam company where girls would sit on a laptop and they would talk to guys on the internet for money. That's what they would do. The girls would sit there fully clothed or a bikini. Some of them would paint pictures. Some of them would sing songs. It's very similar to Twitch is now.
All right, now on to the final part of the video, the fall off. Now, the fall off is pretty tragic right now in the year of 2024, coming up on 2025, but I cannot lie from saying around the time of COVID, 2020 to around 2023, I would say, is when things were still looking pretty bright for him, because after the whole kickboxing and early cam girl business, they really picked off on being a influencer at the top of their game on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I believe you can find some posts on Facebook. They were really at the top of their game in the influential demographic to early young men. And that's where they garnered a lot of success after that. That's where they told a lot of their stories as well, of being a kickboxing champion to Andrew Tate's early years, all the way down to the fish market, all the way down to his father, his past life as a child, him being brothers with Tristan. And you definitely can see their success in the States, and you can definitely see their success in out of the state, out of the country, in Romania. They definitely do have a lot of cars. They definitely do have a lot of wealth around them, circling them. They definitely do have a lot of high clientele that they work with. And I wouldn't doubt that they have a lot of more business opportunities running that we don't even know of, that the public doesn't even know of. But I definitely do say that the fall off really began after 2023. It was around the time when he got arrested by the Romanian government, and he got most of his assets seized, and he got most of his cars taken away, definitely a lot of his jewelry, definitely a lot of his, the house was searched, and both him and Tristan went to prison, because this is the time that a lot of perspective on them was changing from very influential good of like, oh, look at this top tier alpha male struggling and really showing young men how to become successful in his course, Hustlers University.
Modern university is the biggest scam in the history of Earth. It suffers from double inflation. Not only every year are there more degrees than there were before, but the price also goes up. Think about it. Scarcity is directly linked to value. Gold has value because it's scarce. If gold was everywhere, it wouldn't have any value. Degrees are everywhere. Every year, millions and millions more appear. They lose their value, and still every year they charge you more and more money. I tell everybody who asks me, Tate, how did you get rich? I said the biggest thank you I have in my life is that I did not go to university. So many people waste their time and money and end up paying off loans for the rest of their life because they simply didn't know what to do. I don't know what to do, so I went to university. I didn't know what to do, so I went to school. It's socially acceptable time wasting, and that's why everyone does it, because it's socially acceptable. So when I tell people don't go to university, you haven't got that time to waste, they say to me, well, what do I do instead? And this is the answer. What you do instead is join my university program. I'm going to teach you everything from start to finish. Everything I've ever learned about business. I've run so many companies, from making money as a professional fighter is running a company. Webcam girls is running a company. Selling clothing, professional sales and other jobs, television advertising, you name it, I've made money that way. And there are some business secrets which are universal across every single method. I have 100 business tips I'm going to teach you, which will allow you to make your own money instantly. Forget studying. You can either go to university and look at books and study and be a geek, or you can learn how to make some money, because they don't teach you that in university. They don't teach you how to make money. Have you ever seen a college professor with an S63 and a McLaren and a Lambo and an Aston Martin standing next to a Porsche? No, you've never seen any of this. I know how to make cash. We're going to cut the garbage, cut the bullshit, no gender studies, no wasting time, straight to the point. How do you make money today? That's what this is going to teach you. You can skip university, you can buy my program, and I guarantee you, you will know everything you need to know to either take your current business and increase turnover, or if you don't even have a business yet, you don't even have an idea, you don't even know what to do, watch this course from start to finish, and I guarantee you, you'll be making money online for the rest of your life.
Because that was the business that co-synced together with them having an online presence, was Hustlers University, and guess what? That's how they made more money. That was their next business, was becoming very influential there on their university course on how to become very successful. And I believe I only saw one course that really made a, I could say that was very influential, or had good teachings in it, was him trying to teach young men how to sell. Which, yes, that from his early skill set as a child, to him working with Tristan in the television salesman position, yes, that was a very good skill for young men to learn. And that was barely one course in all of Hustlers University. There's different YouTubers that have gone over in depth of every course in Hustlers University and on his Discord. But of course, I'm not linked to any of those. But definitely there are some YouTube channels out there that have gone more in depth on exactly what was in Hustlers University. For the most part, that's how they co-synced their money right there, was becoming the most influential people on social media, that a lot of traffic was driven towards them, a lot of young men, definitely with their edits. They definitely hired lots of people to make edit content on there for Instagram and all social media platforms. And that is what, very good edits drove people to his university course to make money, which was Hustlers University. And of course, this is a big fall off on him, because we all know that Hustlers University is a scam. And maybe there were a few courses in there that had good teachings in them, but the majority of them were very false and were misleading, as he has very different business tactics, and I would imagine perhaps more illegal tactics of business now, or maybe some more different e-commerce platforms, or different ways of revenue. But definitely he was not teaching everything in Hustlers University. So what was it then? It was definitely a scam. And I definitely would like to find or talk to somebody who's definitely gotten successful by taking his course. But definitely a lot of those edits, people were paid to praise the course, and he offered them lots of money. Maybe there might have been some truth in those testimonials, but I believe most of them were false, and a lot of them were made for edits as well, which also proves the point that brought more traffic to the content. And once people ate up the content, they moved on to Hustlers University and his Discord, where they would pay lots of money to infiltrate that course and to get successful. But have I really heard about anybody getting so successful from that course? No. I feel like somebody would have spoken up about that now and said that I made so-and-so by taking Andrew's course. Anybody that wants to find and link me, or put in the comments of a certain person that did make a lot of money from the course, I would be very happy to know that person as well for a future video. But from what I've heard of YouTube going around, is not really a lot of people. Maybe a small percentage of people did become successful from the courses, but a majority stayed exactly the same. So it was definitely just another university school e-commerce tactic to try and scam people, which a lot of people were figuring out, as he was one of the main influencers that garnered an infamous reputation for that. That gave him more infamy, because he was on the bandwagon with a lot of those other YouTubers who did that platform course or courses to help the young man or different people in different aspects of their lives get more fame, wealth, money, power, success. And really, in the end, it was all just to benefit him and to just get more suckers to give him more money. Which I have never been one of those suckers because I've seen them and I just knew that was a scam right from the get-go. Can't say that some of his edits weren't good, though, by his team, because I'd imagine a lot of people ate that up. But yeah, he was just one of those people that really suckered in a lot of people to giving him more money for Hustlers University. And what happened is that a lot of leaks came out about misogyny, about trafficking, and that got him even more bad reputation. That was even leading to his downfall, and what ended up happening was him and Tristan went to prison for a good amount of time.
Hai costituito un gruppo personale organizzato? Ce ho găsit anchetatori. Pardon. Why do you save the birds? Are the accusation realistic? Are you guilty?
Atenție la mașini, vă rugăm.
The Matrix has attacked me.
Appreciate it.
And that was all over the news. That was all over social media about them going to prison and not being able to see their parents, talk to their parents, not being able, or should I say their mom, not being able to get their assets back. I'd imagine a lot of their bank accounts froze up. I'd imagine a lot of their wealth was taken away for a certain amount of time. They said their cars were taken away. They took some of their jewelry. The Romanian government infiltrated their house. So yeah, that was looking pretty bad for them, and I can't say that it really helped them because there were two sides of the fence. There were people supporting them and saying that the Romanian government and the state's government here were all corrupt and believing more in Andrew Tate's ideologies, and then there was another side of people, a lot of women and other men, saying that he is a full-blown trafficker, misogynist, and owning the camp, and that's where the cam girl business as well came to bite him back, as well as because that also gave them more of an idea to believe that maybe he was doing very fraudulent and illegal activities way before the kickboxing. And yeah, I can't say I don't blame them, because that does look bad, unfortunately. That gave him very negative reputation. And also the downfall with that led to just them blabbling on Twitter and or X, I should say now, on Instagram, on TikTok, and then a lot of people, definitely it became a little bit of a political side to it, and definitely, as you know, there are more red pill activities that go on with them. And what does social media platforms hate? They hate red pill content with a passion. They hate that. So definitely the next course of action on all social media platforms was to ban them, and they pretty much have no influence on TikTok, Instagram. I believe they were kicked off of X. I believe the only thing they're really managing to do is just getting people sub-accounts to make edits of them, to drive them to their next university, which is the real world, because whoop-de-doo, their whole site, Hustlers University, got hacked. Not sure exactly, I'm not good at coding or hacking, but whatever way they had to do it, they said it was very easy to get in and to change the whole Discord arrangement of their whole setup and to change a lot of the website. So yeah, they got hacked in fully, and yeah, that was really funny because they were scrambling to figure out an idea I'd imagine. So what do they come up with? They come up with a real world, and I'd imagine that they're trying to get a lot more people to hire so that won't happen again. But that doesn't look good on them because, well, they pretty much have less influence now than they had back in COVID days, 2020 to around 2023. Now their influence is really draining because they barely have any people looking out for them. They're barely getting content on social media anymore. What they are getting are sub accounts that are making edits for them. That's their main source of traffic now because they are banned on pretty much almost every social media platform. And yeah, the whole trafficking, the whole big misogynist leaves a bad sour apple as well, as now pretty much the whole world just you can either range. Some despise him, some are just don't really want to talk about him, some are just middle ground. They know him, but they don't really find him influential or inspiring. So there's definitely a different range of people now, and I definitely say his most dedicated followers are starting to jump ship as well. So he's losing a lot of his influential clientele. He lost a lot of influence on all social media platforms. The Romanian government seizing a lot of his assets and everything definitely did not help, and that drove them into a very tight. They drove him into a very back corner. Definitely the website for Hustlers University getting hacked did not help as well, because that shows how easy it is for internet hackers to troll him as well. So really, what does he have left? I would say he would have to change up his image, and he would really have to maybe start different avenues of business, which I'm already pretty sure he does. He has a lot of well-known people that I'm pretty sure he's making a lot of money from them and doing very big business meetings and vacations. So I'm assuming he'll be just fine and dandy. But definitely do I say, as him being an influencer right now, not good. And unfortunately, this drags down his score a lot because the fall is so severe from the early days of 2020 that I feel that it has gone really hard for him and Tristan to make a comeback from this. And definitely social media is not giving him the unban hammer anytime soon. The Romanian government did not help him. And, you know, he praises Romania and he praises out of the country, out of the United States. But unfortunately, they kind of backstabbed him really bad because getting all of that taken away must have not been fun. And it really messed up his image. And the kickboxing days are over for him. He also stated that. He said he would not go back. Maybe he's trying to get one more fight in with influential people. I heard talk of him trying to fight Jake Paul. But will that happen? Probably not. Just because that's a whole debacle as well that I'll get into. But definitely right now, his influence level is definitely at the lowest it's ever been. Right now, coming up into 2024, and then now we're approaching the new year, 2025. So what would I say at the end of this video is that his overall rating, I believe, is a C tier. I believe he's in the middle because those humble beginnings for him were very good. I believe that was the peak for him, his early growth from childhood adolescence to being a young man as well in the fighting career, because that's always something to aspire to be, and he is a real fighter. So I do believe his humble beginnings were the best. I do believe whenever he tells those tales of him being that influential at that time, I believe those were the peak Andrew Tate years, the early 2000s, him and his brother getting sales skills as well. That type of influence, and if he taught that more to young men about being a fighter and being a salesperson, yes, by all means. If he kept those two skills, ran with it, and still to this day made courses and stuff about it for maybe less money or in a different way, or worked with different maybe actual set up universities and actually taught a seminar or taught students in different ways, perhaps maybe he would be more influential and wouldn't have such a bad reputation. But unfortunately, that fall off was very bad. The cam girl business did not make him look good, It made a lot of people believe that he was a full-blown trafficker, that he was a full-blown misogynist, and people still do. I don't believe people have really taken off that title for him, so he still has that title. He has definitely lost a lot of assets and money because of the Romanian government. Him and Tristan were locked up in a prison for a good amount of time, and I believe that was like really the last peak for them in terms of 2022 to 2023. That was really the last peak for them, because every news outlet was talking about them getting arrested and how unfair it was. After that, when they got back, they were kind of just goofing around, just trying to make edits. But what do you know? What would happen is that they pretty much got banned off of every social media platform. And when you're banned off of every social media platform, guess what? You can't really have an influence anymore over people, over young men who they're trying to aspire to change and to make wealthy and to make powerful and successful. So you can't really do that anymore. And what you can do is bring people to your Hustlers University and the real world. But when Hustlers University gets hacked and you have to make a sub-university to try and rope people back to make money, that doesn't look good. And not only on top of that is that less people will go to it now, and only the hardcore dedicated fans and on the Discord will stay, but that's not going to really get him profits like he saw before. So with him not kickboxing anymore, with the Romanian government taking a lot from him, and with every influential avenue on social media being pretty much taken away from him and banned, yeah, I would say so far that he has earned a tier spot at tier C. And I'll put the tier list up right here as well. And it's just the middle of the road, you know. He's not very good influencer. He's not like top praise influencer for the amount of level of influence he has, and he's not the worst influencer that's just a total scam and not just a total piece of garbage for what he is, because I do believe in the past that he has had skills that he has learned and has taught people in some way to make them better. And I believe those skills do show off a little bit in his character, and he did teach to young men, mainly being the sales and how to be a fighter. So I won't say that he was the most influential, but I will say that, and I won't say that he didn't teach people as well. He did teach people a certain amount of things, but with all that negative reputation as well, I can't give him the high praise of A tier, S tier, because, well, what you know it, things aren't looking too good for him right now. Maybe things can change and I could put him higher on the tier list, but for right now, he is going in C tier, middle of the road. Nothing special, nothing crazy bad, which I will probably get into on another influencer of some of the worst that are just total scams. But yeah, other than that, guys, that has been the video for day 5. And let's see how this one does. I want to see if I can make this a series, because I have some really cool names that I want to shout out to a lot of YouTubers and a lot of influential people that I think deserve it, and some that I think have been pretty bad influencers on social media that I believe deserve bad publicity, and that their negative reputation has earned them F tier. So yeah, though, that has been it for this video, you guys. See ya.